very beautiful warm day here today, even though I'm actually going to be focused a lot on how we cope in this winter season and oils and emotions. So thank you guys so much for joining. I'm Jade. I'm going to be your host this evening, if you will. It sounds so formal. And without carrying on here, I'm going to share my screen, and then we will learn all about how essential oils can help us with our emotions. So here we go, just sharing my screen. Hope you all can see this. Sure, everything looks very chaotic here, but it's really not. Okay, and if you are new here, please, if you have questions, just save them or write them in the chat, and we'll try and cover them at the end of this call. I'm going to try and get through this really awesome topic within 30 minutes. There's a lot to cover, so here we go. So the overview for our class tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about an introduction, why Young Living is so unique, some sciencey stuff, we'll talk science, and then getting oily with it, as in your feelings. And then we'll touch on resources and oily events that are going on this month. And I will also talk about what's happening in July. We have some promos, some that end today, and they are very relevant to this talk, so pay attention to those ones. And I'll also talk about some special bundles as well. And I like to always leave a bit of time for your questions and answers there. So here is my why. By the way, if there's any interruption in this call at any point, it is because I've just switched over. I can hear it. So load shedding just ended here. But so far, we're looking good. So just very briefly, here is my family and myself on the right-hand side. This right here, this picture is my why. This is why I do Young Living business, as this is what fulfills me, because of these little people that you are seeing right here. That's Mika, who is now 10, and that is Sage, who just turned 8. And Sage, my little one on the left here, there's a lot more focus on her. She is the child who led me to essential oils. So sadly, she wasn't well when she was about 18 months old, and she had these unexplained temperatures. And I've shared the story so many times with so many of you, but some are new. So I'm sorry if you're hearing it for the 35,000th time. But anyway, when she was about 18 months, she was not well, and it was a 10-day unwell period. And on about day 5, I took her to the pediatrician, and they could not find anything wrong with her. And when we left the pediatrician office, she actually had a febrile seizure in the car. So I've never experienced that before. And it was a terrible thing to go through. And it felt like I was very much divinely guided and inspired to learn about something different, because I took her straight back to the pediatrician. And it was the first time that I saw and felt that the pediatrician really didn't have the answers for me, other than to tell me to go get her checked out from head to toe at ER, because they still cannot find any reason why she's still sick at all. So I did do that, and we checked out her head to toe, did all the tests, all the things. It was quite invasive. It was quite horrible, but we got no answers. And so the only thing that pediatricians told us to do was to actually put this child on Tylenol and Advil. Those are what we were giving her in the United States where we were living at the time. So it's equivalent to Panado, Nurofen, same thing, and to alternate it. So every 4 hours, I was medicating this poor child. And I tell you, she wasn't getting better. So anyway, after she finally did get better, but she was clingy, and it was just a terrible time in my life, quite frankly, and hers. She finally got better, and I just started to really question what's actually going on here, and why did that happen in the first place, and just asking a lot of stuff. And I really was, in my mind, divinely guided to reach out to this friend of mine's sister who was working with essential oils. She popped into my head. I'd met her once. Her name is Stacy. And I called my friend and said, could I talk to your sister about oils? She was like, sure, here's her number. We spoke for over an hour, and she strongly recommended that I get a premium starter bundle, not only to help my daughter with these seizures that she was having, but also to try and help reduce her temperatures and to help her to stay well anyway in the first place. So that's what I did. I got this starter bundle. started playing around with these essential oils. And you can see in this bottom picture here, there is my little sage that happens to be a peppermint oil. Just one drop went into that carrier, into this roller bottle, I'm so sorry, filled it with carrier oil. And that is what I used on her, down her spine, around her belly when she got a temperature. And it absolutely worked. So 3 weeks after me getting this premium starter bundle, I used it on her when she did have a temperature again, and it worked. So she just turned 8, and this, you can see her in these pictures, she is about 16 months here. And we have never, ever experienced a seizure again since that time. We also have not used a single drug in my house since that time. So I used to also have to take things for period pain, for headaches, and we just don't use any medicine for that stuff anymore, because essential oils, ours, definitely really work. So there you have my little background and my history. And now I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about why Young Living. And I think that this is so important because essential oils are quite trendy, and this market is very saturated. And so a lot of you will find that there are some stores that you almost can't believe that they would sell essential oils, and they do. And the problem is that they can actually label their product as 100% pure, and the truth is they are not 100% pure. So we know that you can actually put what is less than 5% of an essential oil into a bottle and actually label it as 100% pure, which is crazy. So there is nobody licensing any sort of labels, which is just absolutely mad to me. And I know it happens often that people will use the wrong essential oils. They'll have a bad experience. And the worst for me is then they write them off. So this is why Young Living has been set up the way it has. So it is a multi-level marketing setup, and it was very, very, very deliberate. It's because it means that someone can hold your hand, they can teach you, and they can show you how to use these essential oils and how to dilute properly, how to put them in Epsom salt and not just throw them in your bath, how to dilute because you're using it on a baby or a child. So it's very important that you know how. And this is why, basically, when you do, at whatever point it is, decide you want to get some of, Young Living essential oils, it's almost like you join a gym and you get given a personal trainer, so for free. So that is why I absolutely am so passionate and love the whole way that everything works, because we really believe in empowering people to teach them that they can use these brilliant, ours are incredibly pure products, and to use it the right way. So Young Living goes beyond organic cultivation. So we have been using native farming practices. We have over 25 years of experience, and we have a strong belief in positive energy, meaning that when you actually go to the farms, you're not allowed to swear around the plants. We really believe in things like the people who care about those plants and who are harvesting, batching, distilling. They really need to love what they do. They need to come into work with a positive energy, because the plants feel that. And that is definitely not on some sort of organic measurement, or organic standard. So we say we go way beyond organic cultivation. We can't label ourselves as organic because we are a global company. So we have looked at every single organic measurement. We go way beyond any of those. We also believe in harvesting and distillation. We use the correct time, slow, low heat, first time distillation only, and it's always 100% pure. So basically, whatever you have in that essential oil bottle from Young Living has come from that plant only. So there's no fillers, there is no synthetics, there's nothing, only 100% product from that plant. And we have what we call a seed to seal promise or quality commitment, which means that we own our own farms. We're the only company who does that. We have an open door policy. We have extensive in-house testing and external testing. And every single bottle that we have has been tested an average of 95 times before it's released to market. Okay, so let's talk about winter. So you guys might have noticed already that the colder weather and darker days can really result in an increased gloominess and fatigue. So during the winter months, we can struggle with this more due to reduced sun exposure. And this can result in our bodies producing less vitamin D, which is needed to produce serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter, which is important for regulating sleep, mood, appetite, and energy levels. You also might have noticed that we have an increase in melatonin production. So the darker days signal to the pineal gland to release more melatonin, which can actually disrupt the circadian rhythm and increase fatigue. So in addition to less sun exposure in the winter, what we eat can also play a role in how we feel. So especially around the holidays, we tend to consume more inflammatory foods like sugar and alcohol. And these actually, unfortunately, feed unhealthy bacteria in our gut, which can potentially impact our mood. So did you know that the cells in our gut produce a large proportion of serotonin? It's estimated at 90% in our bodies. So I'm going to just mention here that, number one, I'm not a doctor. I'm not intending to diagnose anything in this call tonight. I'm just your friend Jade, and I'm just sharing my story and sharing information that I have gathered. And a lot of what I've gathered here for tonight actually comes from a very, very brilliant scientist and aromatherapist. And she has an Instagram page, called Science of Essentials. So you can follow her there. And she references a lot of these things to PubMed. So when you see these numbers, they're actually the numbers of the articles, and you can look them up. So I do, and I can, and I'm happy to share my slides as well if you guys want to go into this more, okay? So what is the difference between winter blues and seasonal affective disorder? So winter blues is where you have sadness during autumn and winter months. You have some trouble sleeping and generally a lack of motivation. That's me. I definitely have all of those. And then seasonal affective disorder is severe sadness during the autumn and winter months, frequent sleep and eating issues, depression that limits normal functioning and motivation. So that's going to be the difference between the two, okay? So thankfully, there are some proactive approaches like getting outside and maintaining a sleep schedule, using sun lamps or rising sun alarm clocks, eating nutrient-dense foods, taking vitamin D, exercising, and using aromatherapy. That's one of the things that can definitely help counter some of those symptoms that I mentioned above. Now, if your symptoms in the winter are severe and impacting your day-to-day life, I really do strongly recommend that you actually do see a healthcare provider. We say WTF. I'm sure a lot of you want to say but we're actually saying what the frequency and where is the science. So I want to talk to you guys about how does this all work, that everything has a frequency, everything has an energy. What exactly does that mean? So there is a scientific paper that actually talks about the superstring theory, and which states that all particles of matter vibrate to a specific frequency called a string, similar to how guitar string vibrates in a wave pattern, and that these particles attract and combine with other particles of the same frequency. So extrapolating this to emotions and essential oils, the oil molecules have their own vibrational frequency, and they seek out and combine with similar frequencies in our bodies and make those frequencies stronger. So no person or plant has one single frequency. Rather, it's a collective frequency of many individual frequencies of the individual matter particles that make up a living thing. So if we use rose oil, for example, the rose particles will combine with the higher frequencies in our own body and take the collective, meaning the average vibration in our body higher. Okay. The paper also talks about anger being a negative outward emotion. So under this theory, the lower vibrations of anger radiate outward, where they can be absorbed by other people. These lower vibrations bind to the lower vibrating particles in your body, and overall vibration lowers. That's why we often feel negative when hanging out with angry or negative people, and why being around positive people is infectious. So this paper, if you want to go into much more science, it's really great. So it's not difficult to read and understand. I've actually put that that link in there. And again, I'm happy to share that with you guys after the call. But if I didn't do this in like a short spurted thing, we'd be here forever because there's quite a lot of information on all of this. So let's go into emotion. So emotions play a powerful role in how we experience our everyday existence. It is important to understand how to process and transform our emotions. Learning how to use particular essential oils and blends can empower you tremendously. The first step in really figuring out how to more healthily process the emotions we experience in life is to be intimate and honest with ourselves. We can also seek the advice of a mental health professional, of course, to ask for additional guidance. Whoops, I don't know. I just clicked on that PubMed article, sorry. Next slide. Like I'm talking to myself here. Sorry, guys, one sec. Wants me to show you this. It's like desperate for you to see this. Yeah, let me just reload this quickly. See, the reason I'm staying so calm is because I just use some kid power, just so you know. So that has valor in it. I love it. It's one of my favorite essential oils that seriously keeps me calm in moments like this. See, like this every time it's doing, I don't know what it's doing. So I'm going to go to these ones, these like static slides. It will help. So thanks for your patience. Okay, so I hope you can all see this still. Yes? Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the limbic system. So do you know how, when diffused or inhaled, essential oils actually work with olfactory and limbic systems? The way that this works is because our sense of smell is directly linked to our limbic system, which is the part of the brain that is our emotional control center. So when you inhale the essential oils, it's more than just a pretty smell. It's actually working with your olfactory and limbic systems to support our emotional responses, retrain our brains, and other lots of sciencey things. The natural properties in the oils interact with our bodies and brains to help control our emotions. There are many oils to support each emotion, so it comes down to trying them out to determine which ones will support your unique needs best. And here are some really great ideas for you guys. Okay, so under aroma, again, this is from Science of Essentials. So she says, as an aromatherapist, this didn't surprise me, as 90% of the flavor we get from food is due to olfaction. When we peel and eat an orange, and I know this because my daughter just had a nachi tonight, I was really thinking about this while she ate this, we are inhaling those aromatic molecules, which then directly influence our limbic system and how we feel. So the scent of orange in particular is backed by research in its ability to uplift mood and soothe anxiety. Orange essential oil is also known as liquid sunshine, as it is rich in monoterpenes. More specifically, it's made up of almost 93% limonene, which has been shown to reduce the stress response and promote feelings of cheerfulness and positivity. Did you know the saying, stop and smell the roses? It's actually a rephrasing of a sentiment from the 1960s found in golfer Walter Hagen's autobiography. Don't hurry, don't worry, and be sure to smell the flowers along the way. Smell has the ability to bring back memories, but also to bring us to the present moment, to shift our perspectives, to bring greater awareness to our needs. So I love how aromas will often catch me off guard when I'm at least suspecting it, and force me to slow down, breathe, and just enjoy them. There is no other sense so directly connected with our breath. And I want you guys to think back to when you open someone's home and you smell that smell of fresh cooking, or you smell onions, in olive oil. Right away, it is evoking something in you. Or you smell jasmine, fresh jasmine, right? We know, oh my gosh, it's springtime. So that's how quickly the limbic system actually works, and it is so connected to our emotions. So if you do need to slow down, seriously, go use your diffuser or make an aroma dome or a scent tent, which is basically we take essential oils, we drop it in the palm of our hands, rub them together, and then just take a nice big inhale. So we say stop and smell the oils. Okay, so let's go into our scale over here. We have from very high vibration to very low vibration. So low level or low vibration emotions are at the bottom. High level or high vibration emotions are at the top. So when you are feeling cruddy or crummy or not so great, and you want to feel better, look at the emotion guidance scale to determine your current emotion. So then think about how you can move up to just one level higher on the scale. For example, if you're feeling fearful, it's actually unrealistic to think you can snap out of it and start feeling optimistic. But if you are feeling fearful, you're most likely to move up into feeling sad, sad or worried instead. So think of the emotional guidance scale as a ladder that you're actually trying to climb up. Each level is like a ladder rung that you need to climb to get to a better feeling of emotion. You can move up a rung or maybe two at a time. So I hope that makes sense. And this is why one of the things that I also am a huge believer in, especially as a mom, is, oftentimes you'll hear someone say a child is upset and they're crying. And some people, it's instinctive to say, don't cry, because the thing is, well, I don't want you to feel sad, but it doesn't really help, because I'm not sure what don't cry actually means. It means don't feel. So instead, it can be what I used to tell my kids a lot is, are you crying from shock, or are you crying because you actually are hurt? If you're hurt, let's go take care of it. Let's go clean up your boo-boo. Let's go put on a Band-Aid and I'll give you kisses and sit with you. If you're crying because you were shocked, I totally understand. That feels really, it's worrying. And I try and help them to honestly think about some of these other emotions. Well, you know what? Thankfully, you're actually okay. We don't have a boo-boo, but I get it. You felt really scared or very whatever it is. And I try and tell them to let's calm them down. In fact, a really, really beautiful breathing technique, I actually just shared it recently with a friend, but for toddlers and little kids, it's so wonderful that I'm going to share it with you guys because I just love it so much. So I tell little ones to use their imagination and to tell them, like, imagine we're picking a flower and we're choosing a candle. And you actually go into their imagination, depending on age, and appropriate talk with, either it's an 18-month-old or a 4-year-old. You can ask them things like, what color is the flower that you picked? What does it look like? And, oh, wow, look at your candle in the other hand. It's all imaginary. And you basically teach this child, when they feel really frustrated or they feel very anxious or, any of their low vibrating emotions, to help them to calm and to breathe. You actually work with them and say, smell your flower, blow out your candle, smell your flower, blow out your candle. You're actually teaching them how to stop and how to breathe. Now, to add to that, putting an essential oil like white angelica for them would be utterly incredible. You will really, really help them to move through that emotion, and teach them how we have the tools to do that. Okay, so let's look at our essential oil frequencies. This is how you can look at these and see how they're actually measured. So abundance, this goes in alphabetical order. So it is so all these oils are kind of thrown in and it's alphabetical. But you'll basically notice that abundance, for example, is 78 megahertz, acceptance has 102. And then one of the highest over here is rose. So in fact, rose and Idaho blue spruce are going to be the highest. And I have personally experienced feeling incredibly, incredibly sad. And I was just having a really rough day and was thinking about a situation with a friend. We just weren't seeing eye to eye. And I felt very disappointed, but also very frustrated that I couldn't resolve it. I like things to solve and I don't like confrontation too much. So it was really bothering me. And actually, I just met up with Stacy, and I had a bottle of rose because she had said that I could use some of the last bits of hers to make for rollers for some of my people doing Young Living with me. So I was super excited. I had the oil, but I was really feeling sad. Anyway, while driving home, I got into some traffic. And while sitting bumper to bumper, I actually just took out that rose and just decided, oh, let me smell this. I really want to see. And I kid you not, that by the time I got home, I'd completely forgotten that I'd ever felt sad. I just did not feel sad anymore. I had completely moved through that feeling. And it was amazing to me because I only realized after the fact, once I was home, wow, I really went from feeling so awful. And then only now am I realizing and remembering that when I sat and I actually opened the rose, I completely, like almost completely forgot what I was even sad about because I just didn't have that feeling anymore. So it really is true that you can use our essential oils for things like depression. They will help you, even just by smelling them and nothing else. So let's look a little bit more deeply at some of these emotions. Anger. Okay, so anger is one of the most toxic emotions to our hearts and honestly to our bodies. So what oils do we turn to? Think red emotion. So paired with a red remedy oil. Frank, as in frankincense, will be your new BFF to help you process your emotions. Grapefruit and lang lang are excellent for helping to release anger. Extreme fear and anger can also become hatred or self-hatred, and patchouli is known to stimulate more self-love and release negativity. So it's quite nice and helpful that you can actually kind of color code these as well, to help remember which essential oils are going to help you. So another one, fear. What's the opposite of fear? It's love. So love, of course, and peace or gratitude. Think purple emotion and grab your purple remedy oils such as Valor and lavender. Other noteworthy support essential oils here, though, are cedarwood, white angelica, cypress, and basil. So how do you use them? Diffuse or aromadome, 1 to 3 essential oils at about 2 to 3 drops each. Okay. So that's 1 to 3 of those essential oils and 2 to 3 drops of each of them. You can also apply them topically, diluted in water, about 1/3 essential oil to 2/3 of carrier oil, or neat. You can put it on wrists and behind ears and on temples. The reason that we put it in these areas is because we actually have pulse points there. So it's quite helpful to use those essential oils right on our pulse. So sadness, another emotion we don't often like to feel, but feelings are feelings, and just to remember we move through them. So one of the emotions that drains us is actually sadness. It's the kind of emotion that once it hits, it just steals your energy and your happiness. Sometimes it's from something that's happened, and sometimes it's those darn chemicals in our bodies and minds that trick us into being sad. So what oils do we turn to? Think orange emotion paired with an orange remedy oil. Orange, you glad we made that so easy? Also wonderful pick-me-ups are citrus fresh, lemon, bergamot, grapefruit, and lime. They're all citrus oils that have been studied to show their uplifting power. And that's because of D-limonene that exists in all of them, by the way. There are so many studies on that. You can Google it and see tons. You actually put that in PubMed and you'll see all those studies on D-limonene. Okay, so when those feelings that come up and surround anxiety, there are a few things we can do for support. I myself definitely suffer from anxiety, and I know lots of people who do. It drives me mad because I often feel like anxiety is such a wasteful feeling because it's usually worrying about things that haven't even happened. It's worrying about things that they might happen. So this is why I found it such a waste of my energy, but it happens and it's normal. So what is so helpful is using these essential oils for this. So deep breaths in through the nose and out the mouth. Honestly, even if you're an adult, use my analogy with the 2 fists and just smell that flower, blow out the candle, or even better, smell that essential oil and just blow out on the other hand, okay? So inhale your comfort oil. Anxiety occurs for lots of different reasons. Loneliness or sadness, turn to citrus oils. Inability to focus, turn to peppermint. Overwhelm or stress, turn to peace and calming or rosemary. If you're on the call just before this, Sinette shared so many beautiful, brilliant facts about rosemary and how wonderfully helpful and useful it is as well for emotions. Vanilla and copaiba are also powerful anxiety relievers, and this is why so many of us know and remember being in our granny's kitchen and her baking these delicious vanilla cookies, and it brings back such wonderful, happy feelings. It really, really, really helps combat anxiety. So let's talk about how we use them, some roller recipes. So feel free to leave out any of these oils if you don't have it, or you would prefer to skip them. So these are for 10 ml roller bottles. Add your essential oils and fill the rest of the bottle with carrier oil. You would apply it over your heart, wrists, and behind ears. So here's a good one for happiness or to be happy. 15 drops of citrus fresh, 9 drops of lavender, and 6 drops of frankincense. Calm, cool, and collected, 20 drops of peace and calming, and 10 drops of frankincense. Panic button roller, 16 drops of white angelica and 10 drops of lavender and 8 drops of frankincense. So white angelica for me, I really, really love for little ones who are having tantrums or who are really struggling to understand why they can't have X right now. They are struggling with that concept. Anytime they're having a tantrum and they're a toddler, they still don't really, they have big emotions. They're still working and learning how to process. White angelica is going to be your best friend. So definitely invest in that essential oil. Also, if you are someone who just feels that there are negative energies or why is the world out to get me, white angelica is the one to really help you as well. It's also our essential oil for nightmares or bad dreams. Okay, so basically you're putting angels on either side of you. We like to put white angelica on our shoulders like that. It's actually in Gary's Great Day Protocol as well, which we shared today. We shared actually Mary's one. She adds a couple oils, and it's a really lovely Great Day Protocol to have a good day, is to use these essential oils in specific areas of our body. But moving on to diffusing them. So you can start with 4 to 10 drops total in the diffuser. 7 drops in total of all of them is generally a good amount, but you can play around with these ideas and be creative, try something new. Oftentimes we say to people, especially if you're new, let your own intuition guide you. Sometimes it's the color that's attractive to you. Sometimes it's the smell. Oftentimes our body will tell us what it is that we're wanting. I actually work very much on intuition. And oftentimes if I make a roller for a friend, it's not a great habit, but I will really just say, okay, I'm making this for Addie. What does Addie need? And my hand literally just goes and grabs this one and then this one and then that oil. The problem is the part where I said it's not a great idea is I create a whole beautiful concoction. I'm like, here you go, I made this roller. Problem? She falls in love with it and says, what's in it? I'm like, well, can't really tell you. I just know that I grab the things and I put it in. So I am trying to be better with that. And I actually, before I finish the roller, because I really feel that I don't know what happens or what comes over me, but it's very intuitive. So I try and make a point of don't put the oils back yet. Just take a picture so at least I know which oils went into it so that I can show that person. But the other thing I wanted to say to you is I often find it quite amusing what becomes my latest favorite. At the moment, it's highest potential. I've been diffusing this essential oil nonstop. I'm loving it. It's my perfume at the moment. It's in the diffuser. Before that, Northern Lights Black Spruce, obsessed. So on its own, adding some peppermint sometimes, adding orange, I absolutely love it. I could never go wrong with that essential oil diffused for me. But anyway, here are some awesome recipe ideas for you guys. So chill the F out. You know, you have some moments where you come home, you've been in traffic, you've been frustrated. So you can use lavender, peace and calming, citrus fresh, good and grounded. There's vanilla, bergamot, and copaiba. Return to love, lang lang, patchouli, and grapefruit. Focused frank. We have peppermint, cedarwood, and frankincense. So remember that that's also a really nice diffuser blend as well for children or adults who might have ADD or ADHD. So it really helps to keep you focused. Another one I would definitely recommend there, though, is vetiver. Okay, so let's talk about wellness. So aromatherapy can not only support our psychological well-being, but also supports the body physiologically to uplift mood. Inhaling monoterpene-rich oils may be helpful for uplifting moods and allowing one to cope better with stress and anxious feelings. Supporting sleep, using aromatherapy at bedtime can help the mind and body relax, which naturally allows the body to produce melatonin to support sleep. Improve memory and focus. Breathing in essential oils may aid in focus, energy, concentration, and support memory. Rosemary is excellent for that. Reducing stress. Due to the complex constituents, essential oils can play a role in transforming unpleasant emotions, inducing relaxation, and potentially reducing the damaging effects of stress on the mind and body. Regulate hormones. Some essential oils can help support the body to bring it back to homeostasis. Those are going to be Progessence Plus and Endoflex. Brilliant. Dragon Time for 5 days before your period, and or if you have any period pain. Supporting digestion. Aromatherapy can be helpful in supporting digestion and may aid in nausea, upset stomach, bloating, and motion sickness. Promote skin healing. So they can promote that by regeneration, accelerating healing, and preventing scars. Reducing tension. So because of their anti-inflammatory properties, essential oils can be helpful in reducing tension and easing pain. Some essential oils contain menthol, which has a cooling somatosensory effect. Whoa, what a long word that one is. Restores energy. So due to their chemical constituents, some essential oils may boost energy and relieve fatigue while stimulating the brain to focus. Of course, I also love Ningxia Red for that, our delicious wolfberry drink. So that brings me to the end of the emotions and oils. I do want to talk to you a little bit about these great deals we have this July. So for this month, at any point in time in this month, you can grab the Lantern Diffuser and get the lavender and eucalyptus 5 ml essential oils, and that is 1,250 Rand. So it's 40 PV. It's a great deal. And then we have the Winter Warmer Duo. So this is Thieves and Wintergreen, and this is a great savings. It's 25% off. So 589 Rand for that. So that's a nice little duo. Wintergreen's great for pain, by the way. You have basil, oregano, and thyme. All of these would be 15 ml bottles and 975 Rand there for those. The vitamin citrus trio, these are brilliant, right? We just touched on a lot about that because of the D-limonene. So this is going to be your antidepressant little combo. Any one of these, honestly, just to smell, for 459 Rand. It's a steal, and you can actually add that to your essential rewards order, which is great. So then we have essential rewards and quick orders. Essential rewards are the best way to reorder. You don't have to reorder that way. You can just do a one-time order or a quick order. But those of us who have committed to a healthier lifestyle, which we definitely did, especially after what we went through with my youngest daughter. So I'm so grateful that we did, and that it was actually a blessing in disguise because it opened my eyes to so many things. So we now use all non-toxic products to clean our home, to clean our teeth, so toothpaste, to clean our face, all the things. And Young Living really provides so many of these. They cover all the bases. So you can choose and customize a wellness box to be sent to your house every month with products that you may need. And that's what we refer to as essential rewards. It is just a monthly box that, again, you've customized. And I took advantage of our special that actually ends today. That's what I ordered this month. I got 2 of the 15 ml Valor because it is one of my all-time favorite essential oils. And then I got V6 carrier oil because I needed more to make rollers. So that's what I personally purchased. And with that, yes, I hit the 100 PV, which is really cool. But let me show you how this works. If you are on essential rewards, you get a lot of perks. So you would get all of these freebies depending on how much you spend. So if you spend 100 PV, and PV stands for product value, and that is because we are a global company. So if you were in France, you could actually do an order in France, and then you would place your PV order. So to be on this loyalty program where you get all these things back, you actually have a minimum spend per month of 50 PV. So what that also means is on months 3, 6, 9, and 12 of just being on the program, you actually get cheaper shipping, and you have these promos are accessible to you if you spend at these tiers. So if you spend, for example, 100 PV, you would get ginger for free. If you spend 200 PV, you get ginger, a Thieves sanitizer, rosemary, and the Breathe Again roller. So they are actually cumulative. So that's really important to know. Of course, if you just did a quick order and you can see here, you have to spend a little bit more to get those same gifts, because it's Young Living's way of giving back and saying thank you for being loyal. Okay, so that's July promos. If anyone has any more questions on those, I can explain. And then we have our other events happening this month. So I did already touch on all of that in great detail, my launch call. If you guys missed it and you want to actually learn more about the PV promos, where I talk about each one of those oils, I do have a recording of that. So I can share that with you guys. It's available. And then anyone who's interested in the business opportunity, I really encourage any and all of you to jump on and listen about that. There's no pressure ever. There's no minimums. You don't have to stock anything. So you can really learn how you can earn money doing something that you love. I think every one of us who do this as a business absolutely love it, because if helping people is up your alley and you love oils, that's seriously, truly all that you need. So this is the meeting ID, and I can share it again. But just take note, it's Thursday, July 20th at 8 p.m. And just to touch on what our team offers, and there might be a lot going through your head. The oils sound so amazing and cool. I can't wait to try them, but wow, it feels overwhelming. How will I know how to use them? So this is why I touched on before why we are a multi-level marketing company, because we hear you and we have answers. So when getting started with oils, it's so important to have education, resources, and support in your corner. So when you get your oils through a Hello Essentials team member, you actually get all of those things. So we're here to make it simple for you and to guide you in your new oily lifestyle. I also want to show you that we have tons of resources. They exist. So you will be added to a WhatsApp group where we have oily tips, recipes, resources, and answers to your questions. We have a Facebook group. We have many. We have our Instagram account too, and my YouTube channel, which is open to all of you. You can search me at Jade Almaleh, and that's got all of the pre-recorded calls that I've ever done. So there's tons in there that you guys are welcome to watch at your leisure. And we do like to say that we're super fun. I do like to have a lot more fun. This was more of a serious call tonight, but as you can tell, I feel very lighthearted, even though I do believe I am somewhere between winter blues and sad, you know, the seasonal affective disorder. But we will give you access to secret oily groups. Hundreds and thousands of people share their oil successes, questions, and information. We have dilution guides, FAQs, it's all there. And there is also an optional essentials book that explains how to do when you receive your starter kit. We have welcome goodies. It's a surprise. Of course, we like to keep things fun. And you get a personal guide. That's one of us. So we're here to help you. You'll always have someone to ask questions to, and we'll show you where to find the answers. And if we don't know, then we get to learn together. So that makes it really fun. You can get oily goodies from so many places. Of course, here's just to show you a couple of things that you might want. There's spray bottles, roller bottles, dropper bottles, capsules and a capsule holder, witch hazel, travel bags, labels, and much more. There's lots of shops, essentially natural.coza, the Bottle Lady, Glasgoed, Bonpack, Oily Spill Shop, and Therapy Living. And then I've co-written this book, The Essential Book. I did have an awesome special. It's still running. If you want to grab it, take advantage, because the books are now $2.95 each, or you can get a 5-pack bundle for $1,350. So take a look at the website, the-essentials shop.coza. And we also have a Young Living special that ends tonight. It is such a great deal. Quick orders only, but you can get this, what we're calling the Believe in Abundance Duo. Really brilliant essential oils to help you move out of any sort of poverty mindset, and or the buy one or both, you know, buy one, you get one. So this is a BOGO offer. You get buy one Vala, which is a 15 ml, and you get the second one free. So that brings me to the end of my emotions and oils call with you guys tonight. I'm going to stop this share and see if anyone has any questions. Please feel free to unmute yourselves and ask me. And otherwise, yeah, thank you guys for listening in. I don't think that there's anything on the chat that I might have missed. I'll go double check. Oh, Sinead, you'd love to look at the studies. There are so many on PubMed, and I can also share that link with you that goes into, like, from that first article. It's quite interesting. So yeah, it was quite fun. Yes, I know you love to do the research and read all the things. So I'll share that with you. Thank you as well for your call before. It was really great listening to you and learning from you. I always learn so much from you. So thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you liked it, Jules. Thank you for joining. And you, Carmel. Sure, I can show you that article as well. Nadine, the 7 p.m. call that you missed always, Young Living posts it on Young Living Thrive. It should be in Facebook, but they usually share that link like tomorrow. So I'll post it on our WhatsApp groups. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, well, you can always feel free to write your question in the chat and I can ask it. I won't say your name. You can write to me personally or privately at any time. Otherwise, feel free to ask me separately if you want. But I'm always around, and most of you have my number. In case you don't, I'll post it in the chat. But thank you all for joining tonight, and I hope you all stay bundled, warm, cozy, and very happy and positive over this winter season, and that you keep using your essential oils. So I'm also going to continue to integrate the citrus ones for that D-limonene. I know that's a big one for me, so that I can stay happy and positive and hopefully spread that to more people. So thank you guys so much for joining. And with so much love, I'm going to say good night. Bye, everyone.